see. So coming to a nice comfortable seat. Oh, let's just wiggle out the shoulders a few times when we get here. Or you can roll back a few times, then roll forward. All right, so just finding a nice, tall, comfortable seat. You can be forward in your chair, you can be leaning back into your chair, whatever feels good. Just have your legs about hips distance apart. You can slide a blanket underneath your feet if you need to. Otherwise, you just basically want your knees landing over your ankles. And then you can take your hands on your thighs. You can let your arms just relax by your sides if that feels better. That might be a little more stretching through the shoulders. Then you're going to close your eyes here if they're not already. Take a nice deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. Let's do that just a few more times at your pace. Nice, smooth, deep, full inhale. Maybe even pause at the top and sip in a little more air. And then exhale, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. Couple more. And as you're ready, you're just going to find that nice steady inhale through your nose, a steady exhale through your nose. As always, you are welcome to practice your Ujjayi breath if that feels good for your body. So with our Ujjayi breath, we're constricting the sides of the throat. We're creating a soft rush of air in the back of the throat. So there's a little bit of effort to that breath. Helps to create some heat inside the body. The sound gives us something to focus our attention on. Some days that feels like too much though. So you're also just welcome to simply inhale and exhale through your nose. So whatever is feeling right for you today, you can mix and match a little bit. We're just taking these initial moments of our class to kind of drop into this quiet space, to start to lengthen out the inhale and the exhale, to breathe some space into the places in our body that might be feeling a little tight, to soak up the stillness. You're going to notice that your attention wanders from time to time. You get distracted by sounds happening in the room around you. I especially get distracted by the thoughts that come into my mind. That's pretty common. So you just kind of observe them when they come in, smile, let them go, come back to your breath. You might have to do that 1,000 times the next hour. That's okay. So this doesn't have to look perfect. You're doing the best you can. Some days it's easier than others. So we allow for all of this. We just get curious. Another moment here. Okay, so you're welcome to keep your eyes closed, especially if that's feeling good. We're just going to move into some simple cat-cow. So you can also blink your eyes open if that feels a little better. If your arms are reaching by your side, just go ahead and bring your hands to your thighs. Then nice and easy as you inhale, you're going to rock forward on your sit bones. You're going to feel that arch in your lumbar, this openness, this back bend in your upper body, this cobra pose. And then as we exhale, we go in the opposite direction. So chin moves towards chest. You lengthen into the back of the neck. And then just continuing like this. And again, eyes opened or closed, they're both really good. If your eyes are open, you're just keeping your gaze soft and gentle. And wherever you're at, you're paying attention to your spine. You're noticing how things are feeling today. You can visualize your breath, especially that exhale, going to any places that might be feeling a little constricted, a little tight. So you're using your breath to help you create some space and ease. Beautiful work. So as we continue doing this, if you'd like to add your arms, you're welcome to do so. So as you inhale, stretch one arm forward. Exhale, release down. And then inhale, add that opposite arm. And it doesn't matter how high you lift it again. You're just kind of feeling things out. Kind of starting slow. You can always add more. Really nice work. Let's just do a few more rounds here. And if you're doing arms, just make sure that you end on that left side so you're nice and even. Let's come back to a nice tall seat. So our mountain pose. You can kind of readjust your seat, check in, make sure that you're feeling really stable and grounded. And then from here, let's just start to rock around in our hips a little bit. So just making some circles. These can be big, small, a little above. You can get the shoulders, the neck involved. Always kind of a nice movement to do. We don't move in this direction in yoga a lot. So I always think it feels really, really good. We're going to start to switch directions here. Great work, ladies. All right, so just making your way back to that nice tall seated pose. Let's move into some sun salutes here today. So it's been a few weeks since we've done these. So let's just play with that a little bit. Let's break it down nice and slow the first round, kind of hold the poses, and then we'll flow it together a little bit. So if you do have blocks or books, these can be really nice to have out in front of you, just a place to rest your hands. Also not necessary, but feel free to set those up if you do have them. And then finding a nice tall seat here, let's release our arms by our sides. Just finding this beautiful mountain pose. Feeling this openness across the heart and chest, this lengthening through the sides of the waist. Let's find more of that length as we inhale, stretch arms out and up. So our extended mountain pose, we're going to take just a couple of breaths here. You can pretend that somebody is pulling up on your wrist so you're getting a little more length. And as we do these poses, if things don't feel good, you skip them or you modify, especially with the arms up. Sometimes we need to take a little break. All right. So from here, we're going to exhale, come into our full forward fold. There's a couple ways you can approach this. You can swan dive in if you feel balanced. Some of us are going to take our hands to our thighs and start to roll on down. Good. So just releasing the back of the spine. See if you can bring your chin towards your chest a little bit. So the neck loves to hold. It's used to doing that. See if you can get it to release. It might take several breaths to do this. And it can feel very intense through the back of the body. This isn't not an easy stretch, even though it looks deceptively so. You can get a lot of sensation here. So keep that breath moving. We're going to turn this into our half forward fold. So this is a great place to take your hands on blocks if you have them. Otherwise, hands could be on your shins or your thighs. But essentially what you're doing is we're just finding a little lengthening forward. It's like a little seated cobra pose. So your shoulder heads press back. So this is our half forward fold. Gaze soft and gentle out in front of you, feeling rooted into your sit bones and into your feet. So essentially our sun salutes are just this back and forth between back bending and forward folding. So this is the back bending portion here. On our next exhale, we're going to fold back in. So this is the forward fold part. Going to take a few more breaths here. And it's interesting how the back bend and the forward fold, they do different things. They get into different areas. So kind of explore that, notice how it feels for you and your body. From here, on our inhale, we're going to make our way back into our extended mountain pose. So again, if you feel strong in your core, you can take your arms out wide. Otherwise, you can just use your hands to roll on up. Beautiful, beautiful work. Couple of breaths here, feeling nice and tall, lengthening through the sides of your waist. You might even start to bring your gaze up here. You might even press palms together if that feels okay in your shoulders. Good. And then as we exhale, let's just release our hands down. So palms come together at our heart. Just taking a breath or two. Shoulder blades are releasing down your back. You're rooting into your sit bones, lengthening through the sides of your waist. So we're going to start to connect all of that together here. So just releasing your arms by your side again. Here we go. One movement per breath. Inhale. Take up space as you reach up. You could also reach forward and up with your arms as well. And then as we exhale, we make our way down into our forward fold, really trying to let the back of the neck lengthen and release. Inhale, coming into your half forward fold. So sides of the waist lengthen, you gaze forward, nice work. As you exhale, you fold back in. And then pressing down to rise up. Beautiful work. As you exhale, hands come to heart center. Good. And then we continue on. So inhale, arms reach. As we exhale, we come into our forward fold. So our Uttanasana. Inhale, we come into our half forward fold, Ardha Uttanasana. Great work. As you exhale, you fold back in. And we root down, roll all the way up. And exhale, hands coming to heart center. So we're going to do 2 more of these. I'm not going to cue you. If you know these really well, you just move with your breath. Otherwise, you can follow along with me here. But let these feel really good. And if you prefer to skip them, if they're not feeling good, you could just sit quietly in meditation. Let these feel really fluid, really spacious and graceful in your body. Find this rhythm as you connect to movement with breath. And just observe how good that feels. Really nice work. When you're done with that second round, your palms are going to come together at your heart. You're going to close your eyes if they're not already, and just do a little mini check-in here. So it doesn't take much movement, much focus on the breath for things to start to shift pretty quickly. We start to find more space. We start to relax a little bit. Different hormones start to release in our body, chemicals, those feel-good chemicals. So we start to feel a little joy. So soak up all of that, enjoy that, how it feels. And then let's blink our eyes open here. Let's get into the neck a little bit. So again, it's going to be your option. You can play with both hands resting on thighs. That might be a good place to start. If you do want a little more intensity and you're a little more open in the upper body, you could reach your arms by your side. And we're going to start to just let our chin release towards our chest. And again, this is not easy to do. These muscles in the neck work really hard to keep the skull, the brain upright so we can kind of see what's coming at us. So as such, these muscles like to grip. They don't like to let go. See if you can get them to do that. And we'll just move nice and slow with this so we can start to find a little space, a little opening. Good. So keeping your chin tucked like this, nice and slow on your exhale, start to bring your right ear towards your right shoulder. And you're going to take several breaths here. So there's going to be a lot of inhaling and exhaling. You're going to get to spots where you're feeling things grip and tense up. Maybe hang out in those places for a couple of breaths. Let's see if you can find a little more space, a little more ease, and then check in with your shoulders here. Make sure that they're not creeping up around your ears. They almost do it without us being aware that that's happening, especially when things are feeling intense. This might be a place where you do release your hands if you're wanting a little more sensation. Always being mindful when you try these, like the next level, that if it doesn't feel good, you don't do it. And just go back to where you were before. And always remembering too, I say this all the time, but every time we get on our mats, it's going to be a little different. So what we did last week might not be happening this week. That's okay. So even though we're practicing the same poses over and over again, they're always feeling a little different. There's always different things going on. Finally, if you'd like to take your right hand to the top of your head, again, you're being very mindful about this. Some days it works, some days it doesn't. Skip it if it doesn't work today. Okay, so if you've got that right hand on your head, just release that arm by your side. Keep the chin tucked. And then moving nice and slow, once again, so several breaths. Start to come back to center. And again, you're pausing in those spots where you're getting some sensation. Maybe it's feeling a little easier going in this direction, but maybe you're finding some new places. As you get back to center, take a couple of breaths here. Notice how the back of the neck is feeling. So hopefully you're feeling a little longer, a little more release there. And then as you exhale, start to make that journey to the left. You're keeping your chin tucked, but you're taking several breaths here. You're pausing in those places where you're feeling a lot of intensity, a lot of sensation. Just taking a few breaths, seeing if things start to release. And of course, we're kind of getting to the opposite side of the neck here. So you're going to be feeling a lot of sensation through the right side, those scalene muscles. And then just do check in with your breath. Are you breathing? So just as we grip and hold muscles and we're not aware that we're doing that, sometimes we do the same with the breath, especially when things get a little intense, a little challenging. If your hands on your thighs and you want to release your arms by your side just to create a little more intensity, you're welcome to do that. Again, if you go there and it doesn't feel good on this side, you just skip it. And then maybe you add your left hand to the top of your head. Be really gentle about that. It's fine if you did it on the other side, but it's not happening on this side. Breath smooth and steady. All right, so if you've got that hand on your head, just release it down. And then keep your chin tucked. And then again, it's just start on the exhale, but continue to breathe. Take several breaths. And just bringing your chin back towards the center of your chest. And again, when you get there, hold here, take some breaths. Notice if it's feeling a little easier. There's a little more lengthening in the back of the neck, a little less grip. Good, nice and easy. Just start to upright your head. So sitting nice and tall, just coming into that Tadasana, mountain pose. Good work. And then let's just bring our fingertips towards our shoulder heads. And let's just start to make some circles. So let's roll forward here. They can be big circles, kind of trying to squeeze your elbows in towards each other. It could also be really tiny, maybe a little mix of both. It's warming up that shoulder girdle. And hopefully it's feeling like there's a little less grip there after all of that neck and shoulder work. Good, and then just start to take this in the opposite direction. These look good. Good, and then you're going to release your arms down by your side, finding your mountain pose, Tadasana. Let's come into a crescent pose. So just keep a right knee bent, potentially both legs bent. You're going to just play around with this. But if it's available to you and you feel stable and safe, extending your left leg to straight, you're welcome to do that. So you come into this pose too, just make sure that you do have that right knee over right ankle alignment. And then you want to find your sit bones here. So notice if you've started to lean to one side or the other, you want to be sitting nice and even so you feel super balanced. All right, so from here, we're going to inhale, reach our arms up. They can be about shoulders distance apart here to start out. You can take little breaks with the arms whenever you need to. Okay, so perhaps you can bring the palms together, interlace your fingers, and then start to bend your elbows so the palms come towards the back of your head. Kind of stretch the elbows out. And if your fingers aren't interlacing, it's okay to just modify however you need to. Should be feeling a pretty intense stretch across the backs of the shoulders there. Take a nice deep inhale here. As we exhale, we're going to start to drop that right elbow down any amount. Left elbow reaches. Inhale back to center. And then exhale, drop your left elbow down. Doesn't have to be very deep. It's going to look different for all of us. Inhale to center. Good. Exhale. Right elbow drops. Good. Inhale to center. And then exhale, left elbow drops. Good. So on your next inhale, stretch your arms out. And then you can take your left hand to the outside of your left hip, or you can have it somewhere on the thigh, or even just reaching by your side. Start to side bend to the left. So like a little reverse crescent pose. Really, really lovely. Can you get that right shoulder blade to release down your back? And then it kind of feels like you're going to spin your right palm to face behind you. Maybe you look up underneath your top arm. Good. As we inhale, we're going to upright ourselves. Left palm reaches right palm. And as we exhale, we release our arms down. Let's just take a couple breaths like this. Let's keep our legs in this configuration and just find a little twist. So a couple of breaths, kind of letting that go. You can even kind of shake out the arms a little bit if you need to. That was a good amount of shoulder, upper arm work. All right. Here we go. So inhale, stretch your arms out wide. Keep rooting, anchoring down into your sit bones here. Take a nice deep inhale. And then exhale, begin to twist to the right. So just a couple of breaths here, arms lengthening out. So it's like you have this giant wingspan. And then this twist is going to look a little different for all of us. So if it's available in your body, if you have a deep twist, you're going to grab something behind you, a piece of chair, and then maybe your left hand comes to the outside of that right thigh. Some of us aren't going to go quite that deep. So hand to the inside of the left thigh is also a really nice variation. Wherever you're at, you're just getting a little leverage. So your shoulder heads press back. You're feeling this lift of your sternum. There's that sense of back bend here. And then you're just playing with a place to gaze that feels good. So some of us gently move towards bringing our gaze out over that right shoulder. You might not get all the way there. Check in with that sound of your breath again. Bring your attention there. And then let's just find this like little reverse crescent twist again. So you're going to just keep your left hand pressing wherever it's at. As you inhale, you're going to lift your right arm up and over. So we take that little side bend again. Keep wrapping your left ribs up. These look fantastic. Deep inhale. And then as you exhale, just go ahead and unwind. You can bend that left leg in if you had that knee extended. Leg extended rather. And then we're going to move to the second side. So again, you could just do this whole sequence seated here with both knees bent. That works. If you feel steady and rooted and safe, you can extend that right leg to straight. And even here, you just want to make sure that your legs are about hip distance apart so you have that stability, that safety. Good. And here we go. We're going to inhale. Stretch our arms up. So just coming into our full crescent pose here. Maybe bringing your gaze up. Good. So interlace your fingers again, but go for the way that feels a little funny. So usually if you kind of go the way that feels normal and then switch it, and then again, press your palms up towards the ceiling. I don't know if we did that on the other side, but we're going to do it on this side. We're going to take a couple of breaths there. And that's nice. You feel that stretch on the inseam of the arm, that inner arm. Good. And then, so palms are going to face towards your head. So you're going to bend the elbows here. Good. And then that little arm stretch. So as you exhale, left arm dips down. Inhale to center. Exhale, right elbow dips. Doesn't have to dip very far. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the left. Nice work, ladies. Inhale up. Good. Exhale here. All right. So we're going to find this little side stretch here. So let's inhale, release arms, and take your right hand to right thigh, grab a piece of shirt, and then we start to lean to the right, wrapping these right ribs up. Maybe you're looking up underneath that top arm. Keeping that breath smooth and steady, keeping both shoulder blades releasing down your back. Beautiful work. On your inhale, root down into your sit bones. Find your full crescent pose. Maybe press palms, perhaps gaze up. Exhale, release your arms by your side. So just give them a little break, a little shake if need be. So just going to take a couple of breaths here before we move into that twist in this crescent pose. All right, here we go. As you inhale, arms reach out wide. And then we find that twist. So anchor down into your sit bones as you exhale. Doesn't have to be very deep. Imagine that you have two people holding onto your wrist, gently tractioning you apart. This side could feel different. So again, your options are to bring your right hand to the inside of your right thigh, grab something behind you with your left hand. If you have the flexibility in your spine, you might go a little deeper. So right hand to the outside of your left thigh. Wherever you're at, you're just getting a little leverage, hand and leg press kind of against each other in opposite directions. So you can press your shoulder heads back. And then maybe you're bringing your gaze towards that left shoulder. Just pause along the way if it starts to feel too tense through that right side of your neck. So you can keep your right hand wherever it's at. Put your brain down in your sit bones. We're going to find that little reverse crescent pose again. So inhale, left arm comes up and over, your side bending to the right. You're feeling all of this lengthening through the left side. Maybe you're gazing up underneath your top arm. These look great. Good. One more deep inhale. As you exhale, just release that left arm down. And then you can bend this right knee. If that leg is extended, finding your Tadasana. Let's close our eyes here. Quick little check-in. Notice how your body's feeling. So there might be a little heat, some long holds, some long challenging holds. The heart might be beating a little faster. These are all good things. Maybe the breath has sped up. If that's you, see if you can start to stretch it out again, slow it down. And then blinking your eyes open. Let's get into the hips a little bit. So we're going to come into our seated pigeon pose with another variation in case that isn't working for you. I'm actually going to keep my blocks here in case we take this into forward fold. So option one, you can cross this right ankle above your left knee if that's accessible to you in your body. If you're there, you might be feeling a lot of intensity. If you're a little more flexible in your hips, perhaps you need to press down on that right thigh a little bit. That will just give you a little more stretch. So the other variation that you might take here, if that's just not working for you, is to simply open up this right thigh. So it's kind of like a warrior two leg. And it doesn't really matter how wide you open the leg. You're just going to go to that place where you're feeling a stretch. You do want to be mindful, however. So see how my knee is tracking over my ankle. I want to just have that nice alignment of knee over ankle. So it becomes more about the hip and less about the ankle. And here you can kind of take that right hand, press back if you want a little more of that opening. And you're breathing here, especially if this is really intense for you. This is one of those poses that it can kind of make you hold your breath. So keep that breath moving. And you're welcome to stay here for several more breaths. If you're in a place where it feels like you might like to get into the stretch a little deeper, you can turn this into a forward fold. And that can look like a lot of different things too. Maybe you're just resting your hands on that lower right leg, kind of finding that almost like that half forward fold pose that we did as a part of our sun salutes. Maybe it is available to you to come a little bit deeper. So this is another place where blocks can be really nice, just something to rest your hands on. And there's no added benefit to doing the forward fold. Some of us are just a little more flexible, so this gives us a little more sensation in the hips. If you are seated upright and you're feeling the stretch, you're doing it right. That's exactly where you need to be. So just remembering all of these poses look different in everybody's body. Got a few more good breaths here. If you are in the forward fold, on your inhale, you're going to start to make your way out. You can uncross this right ankle. If you're in that warrior two version, just bring that leg in, and we're going to take our second side. So same thing here. Left ankle crosses above your right knee, or you can open up this left leg any amount, just land with the knee over the ankle. And always remember that just because you did one variation on one side, it might not look the same on the second side. So modify as needed. If you are in your seated pigeon, you can gently press down into that left thigh if you need a little more stretch. Conversely, if you're seated here as I am in this warrior two, just kind of pressing this left palm into my thigh. It's like I'm going to press that knee back behind me. It just gives me a little more sensation and stretch. You might not need to do any of that. Find that rhythm of your breath. You can visualize in this pose, the exhale, just kind of going to that outer left hip, creating a little space, a little ease, opening things up. And of course, if you're feeling the sensation, if you're feeling the stretch, this is where you stay. If you feel stable and like you want to go a little deeper, maybe you take that forward fold, and you can kind of just gauge it here. So moving slow and just pausing at the place where you feel a little more intensity. You can always use your hands on blocks here. If this left ankle is crossed above your right knee, you can just be resting your hands on that lower leg, that shin. Nice work. So nice and easy. And start to make your way out here. And then you can uncross left ankle. If you're in your seated pigeon, if you're in your warrior two, just come back to your Tadasana, your mountain pose. Good. And let's close our eyes here. And just find a nice, smooth, steady rhythm of your breath. So length of inhale, length of exhale, nice and even. And let's all kind of just find a pace together here. So let's all take a nice deep inhale. Full complete exhale through your nose. We're going to inhale to the count of 6. So inhaling 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I want you to do 3 more complete rounds of that box breath. Maybe the 6 count worked for you. Maybe you want to extend the breath out a little bit. Maybe you need to shorten it up. But essentially, you're going to inhale to a count. You're going to pause to that same count. Exhale to that number, and then hold the breath out to that number. So just keeping it nice and even. And do less. Don't feel like you have to have this nice long breath. You want this to feel pretty easy, nice and balanced. Now, when you've completed 2 or 3 rounds, just let your breath return to normal. So you're not efforting anything. Nice, easy inhale, nice, easy exhale. And we're going to move towards our final resting pose. So you can just stay seated like this. You're welcome to come into a classic Shavasana on the floor if that is available to you, accessible to you. Can take a forward fold here if that felt good. Kind of split the difference if there's a table or desk in front of you. It can just feel really nice to cross your arms, just rest your forehead there. So find a place where you can soak up these final quiet moments of our class, our time together. Relax your body, quiet the mind. Shavasana. Nasato ma satgamaya. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Mrityo ma mritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Take a deeper inhale. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. And very gentle, bring movement back to your body. So wiggle, stretch out. And is anything that feels good here. You can eventually bring your palms in a pile on top of your heart. One final check-in. So noticing how you feel differently physically. How does this seat feel different? Is there a little more space, a little more ease in your body? Observing how the breath has shifted this past hour. Hopefully it's feeling a little steadier, a little deeper. And then as a result of body and breath working together, how has your headspace shifted? So you might be feeling a little calmer, a little more focused, perhaps, hopefully, a little sense of joy. So soak up all this good stuff, these good feelings you've created. Promise yourself that you're going to carry this with you into the rest of the day, the rest of the week ahead. And finally, just bow your head with love and gratitude. Beautiful work today. Thank you.